It's legendary hero time, people. I'm Penros776, and I like these banners. They're nice and short, and they've got good units on them most of the time. Speaking of, where's that? Oh, that's Elincia, I'm pretty sure. That is Elincia, right? Yes, okay, good. I can still recognize Fire Emblem characters by looking at them, more or less. I see she is quadding right there, but she is a flying sword unit, which is pretty common for Elincias. That's like the archetypal Elincia movement type and weapon right there, armed with the absolute amity. Enables Canto 2. Yay! Accelerates special trigger cooldown count -1. Unit attacks twice, even if foe initiates combat. Unit attacks twice. If units within free spaces of an ally. Grants +5 crawl stats to unit. Grants attack speed +X to unit, where X is equal to 11 minus foe's max special cooldown count value ×2, minimum of 3. If foe does not have a special skill, X equals 3. And neutralizes effects that inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. So, Canto 2, Slaying, Dual Phase Brave, Spectrum +5, Tempo, and then a little bit of extra attack and speed. Hang on, if foe's max special cooldown count value. So like potentially anywhere from 9 to 3 speed, depending on what special your foe is running. A lot of the time it's going to be 9 or like 7, because slaying with short cooldown specials is pretty common for a lot of units out there. There's only really a handful that use longer cooldown specials. So yeah, very, very solid there. Slaying, Brave, Tempo is always a good combination because that means you can charge up specials very quickly. However, as a flyer, I'm not really sure what specifically you'd give her to capitalize on that. In this case, it seems like they've given her Dragon Fang. Which, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? In the A slot, attack speed Clash 4. Clash on a flyer is interesting. I mean, 4-tile movement is definitely possible for flyers. Let's take a look at the B slot, Aerial Maneuvers. This looks like a tier 4. Is that a dive bomb icon? Unit can move to a space within 2 spaces of any ally within 2 spaces. Oh boy. At the start of combat, if both units and foe's HP is greater than or equal to 50%, inflicts speed defense -4 on foe during combat. Also, if unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counter-attack during combat. Okay, so yeah, Dive Bomb 4, much easier HP condition, applies a speed defense -4, and adds some frankly insane warping potential on top of all of that. That's a very strong inheritable. I think Flyer Emblem is slowly becoming more and more real in the present era of the game. We've already got some very good flyer support in the form of Legendary Hinoka, and now we're also getting this. And then the C slot, Heart of Crimea, PRF C skill. By the looks of it, allies within 2 spaces of unit can move to any space within 2 spaces of unit. Okay, so a PRF Guidance 4 style effect. Works on all movement types. Inflicts attack speed defense res -4 on foes within 4 spaces of unit during combat. Okay, so any unit that's warping within her space and attacking like that is going to benefit from this because 2-tile range, and then you've got a ranged unit who can attack a foe 2 tiles away from themselves. They're using this teleportation. That foe is within 4 spaces of Elincia. So yeah, definitely a solid warp anchor for your team as well. And at the start of turn, if units within 2 spaces of an ally, grants null follow-up to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit. all things put together, it seems like a very convincing combination to my eyes. She acts as a warp anchor for all your other units. She can warp anywhere near all your other units. We've already kind of seen this combination before on other units, but I think what sets Elincia apart here is specifically being a melee range unit, which might seem like a weird thing because normally ranged units are better, but when you can warp to 2 spaces of any ally, and your 2 range as well, it becomes really difficult to actually overlap that on defense. Again, I'm defense brained. This is all I think about. But when you're melee ranged, just stack it up with some source of orders, which are pretty easy to get your hands on. And now if you're warping within 2 spaces of that unit, and a ranged unit is warping within 1 space of that unit, well, you've got yourself something, don't you? Pretty cool. And the null follow-up support actually I think is very strong. But null follow-up and mobility support is a combination we've kind of had before. We've kind of had it before in the form of Harmonic Lind, who I already use quite a significant amount actually, because God Swords are crazy strong as always, and quite a lot of the strong ones don't actually have NFU base kit, meaning, well, you don't want to lose a B slot for that. That's one of your damage reduction skills. You could run it in the S slot, but you know what else can go in the S slot? More attack and speed, or, you know, other things. There's a lot of options there. So what do? You offload it to another unit entirely, and because it's being applied as a status, even things like feuds aren't gonna get rid of it. Very, very handy little unit. Yeah, I think there's a lot of value. Let's see some animations, shall we? Elincia, do you really need to Desperation Quad this poor 38 hit point green mage? Oh boy. And gonna do the same to Duo Dagger here. We're not actually gonna see a special animation at all. But still, seems pretty fun. Also on the banner, Saros, Legendary Claude, Dagger, Legendary Byleth Male, Ota, Goto, Gilliam, Fallen Crom, Fallen Maria, Legendary Hinoka, and Noah. As usual, it's an 8% banner. Let's go through things color by color and ask what we're summoning, what we're not. Yeah, I love this little circle. So, best color on this banner, red. It's red. Legendary Hinoka, crazy strong, good fly support. You've seen me running her on defense probably, or if you haven't, then you will soon. Really strong for Chaos Season, really strong for offense as well. If you've got Gulveig, Legendary Hinoka and Gulveig is a crazy strong combination. Elincia obviously is the new legendary, so get her if you want her. And then Fallen Risen Crom, obviously an arcane unit, so there's arcane skill duplication shenanigans capable of going on there. And just to all the Croms are good. All the Croms who can do their little thing where they repo someone and then they keep going because they're a Crom, that's always good. That's very strong. I think red is definitely the one color here that is absolutely certain. Second best, probably colorless. Legendary Claude. It's a little overshadowed at the moment because there are other Claudes that do the same thing and are good, but he's still a very strong Claude, don't get me wrong. Goro, I love that old man. Goro, honestly, like, overlooked a lot as a unit, but very tanky and has a very unique supportive effect of preventing AoEs as well. I like Goto a lot. And then Fallen Maria, of course, the famous support unit for causing all sorts of nonsense. So yeah, colourless, another very high value colour. Blue is almost there. Now, blue is not really strong on the legendary mythic side because you've got Seiros, who for a long time her only redeeming factor was that she was a 7th slot mythic. Now there are better 7th slot mythics. So why are you running Seiros? Aside from that though, Gilliam, honestly, I think one of the best near savers out there at the moment. Looking forward to trying him myself. Hopefully I can pick up a copy here, although I don't know how likely that's going to be if I don't really want to risk blue. And Noah, strong support on offense, not really a defense unit necessarily because his effect is tied to having a support partner, but as a Citrine pair, Noah lets you put dodge as a status effect on your entire freaking team, which is not to be coughed at. So I would definitely consider Noah a solid option. Then green has Legendary Byleth, who is useful, I guess. He has a DR piercing special, and he has Drive NFU, which isn't quite as strong in the current metagame as NFU as a status, but I mean, it's better than nothing, right? Dagger has Pathfinder, and it's basically the reason why you use Dagger. But again, most of the places where you'd want Pathfinder, there are other units that you would use for Pathfinder instead of base Dagger at the moment. The only other reason you're really picking up copies of base Dagger is because it's an offense mythic and you want the extra score. And then Oda, who falls in exactly the same category as Seiros of this is a defense unit you were running for the extra slot, until they finally released a better Anima mythic, which there are several better Anima mythics now, so sorry Oda. So yeah, red is a definite yes, colour's pretty cool. Blue may be worth it if you don't mind having Seiros in your barracks. Green, sad. Let me know if you agree with that, if you're going to be rolling for any of these banners, if you welcome our new flying overlords, if you're a really big fan of Elincia, because I know that there are a lot of those out there. All of those things, tell me in the comments. I've been Penros776. It's been a good time to have you on, and I'll see you all in the next one. Penros out.